Is the best version of yourself really necessary? The answer to that is no. At least not all the time. Let's jump into this. Now, today we often hear some variation of the phrase that I'm living my best life, or I'm taking this class to become the best version of myself. And so, what do people really mean when they say that? I think that a lot of times people just say it just as something to say. It sounds cool, right? It says that I'm doing the work. In the times that we live in, when there's mental health issues and people have different challenges, there's a certain stigma that has gone away, and there are kudos that are given to people who are working on themselves. Great thing, right? Cool. However, we all kind of have this tendency to always put maybe a little bit too much on it with regard to our best version of ourselves. What do I mean? Because if there's a best version, then obviously there must be lesser versions. And the title of the show is the best version of yourself necessary? And I'm saying not all the time, because there are situations or days when your okay self will do, your average self will do, or maybe your above average self, or that self that's above average but less than the best, might be perfect. However, when we think about the days, times, and circumstances that are going to require your absolute best self, I'm talking about everything you got clicking on all cylinders, those days and those times come few and far between. Will those days come? Yes. Will they come often? Probably not. However, the purpose of doing the work, educating ourselves, disciplining ourselves, is so that when that day comes, we are equipped, we are ready to make sure that we can give it everything that we have to be able to win that fight. However, we should utilize our strength, our energy, and who we are judiciously. We should apply it to be able to meet the day or the circumstance or the situation, lest we find ourselves being burnt out or have a kind of stress that is on us that is uncalled for, because it's just you putting that stress on you, judging yourself when you might not need to. And so I think that we have to do here is understand that we should be giving ourselves or lending ourselves some grace, because part of being human is that tendency from time to time to lose focus on being our best. There are certainly days, times, conversations that you wish you had a do-over because you weren't your best. My contention is that you didn't even have to be your best. You just had to be okay, and it would have sufficed. It was just on those days you were probably functioning somewhere around your worst. Okay? So when we talk about grace, and I think that there's a type of self that we should kind of move and operate in most. Once again, this is not your best self, but this is a self that I consider that is free-flowing, that is ready, engaged to be able to function at a high level, that when other people see it, think about this version, they say, oh, that guy is cool. That woman, oh, she's awesome. And what I want to refer to this, once again, this is not the best self. This is just that high functioning self, above average and above that, but below the best, that we should be able to, good word, flow in. And the word or the way that I want to introduce this self is as your dope self, right? And the reason why I want to use this phrase, your dope self, is because, look, I grew up in the 1980s, born in 1976. And so I grew up with hip hop. It was my music of choice. And so that was the first time I heard the term dope used the way it was. Obviously, before that, if you heard the term dope, it meant drugs, narcotics. But what hip hop did when they said dope, they could be talking about a person, place, thing, and I imagine that they were saying that this person, place, or thing is so cool, so superb, that it is the equivalent of being actually high on a narcotic. And so, dope, your dope self, the coolest self, is what I'm saying that we should be thinking about and being able to operate in without having to expend the kind of energy, both mentally and physically and otherwise, that we need to when we're being our best self. We should have some fun with improvement. We should have some fun with personal growth. We should have some fun with personal development. And see, when it comes to being your dope self, that has to do with like the way that we used to function and flow before the drop. What do I mean when I say before the drop? I want you to go here with me and imagine this in your mind's eye. Imagine, especially if you have kids, then you can relate. Imagine that 3-year-old, 4-year-old toddler standing up on the desk, and you are their father or mother, and you step back 3 or 4 feet and you say, jump. Will they? They're going to have maybe some trepidation. Chances are they're going to jump. Why not? They don't know what falling is. And so they do, and guess what? You catch them. Yay. Everybody laughs, has a good time. You put them back. Tell them jump. Do they jump? Sure. Do it again and again. Now step back further. Oh, a little bit more trepidation, but so long as you catch them, it's all good. Now, when I talk about the drop, I'm not saying that dad dropped you or mom dropped you. However, life has dropped many of us. And because of the drop that we've experienced through life, AKA trauma, right? Now we're kind of reticent to be our dope self. Right? On one hand, being your dope self attracted to you the kind of people and attention that may have caused or led to the drop. In other cases, maybe socially, you being your dope self made people depend on you in an inordinate way. And you're like, hey, when are you going to pull your own weight? You guys are always calling on me. Why? Because I have decided to be my dope self and you guys have not. And so that can cause you to be reticent. Then there's just the types of drops that we've experienced that kind of didn't break your spirit, but it kind of left you with, it just ain't worth it. And I'm challenging that today. It is worth it, but we need to have some boundaries in place for the people who don't really understand how to appreciate your dope self, the people who look to take advantage of it. We have to become comfortable telling them no. Just because I'm dope doesn't mean that it's for free. And I'm not saying always that it's money, but reciprocity is important. Give and take is important. I shouldn't always be the one calling you. I shouldn't always be the one paying when we go out. Just because I'm dope doesn't mean that I should always be pulling the weight in our projects or the things that we're working on. If we're getting ready to go on a trip and I'm doing the planning, I'm doing the organizing, hey, I'm dope. I get it. But I need you guys to be dope too. So what I'm saying to us today is that let's be our dope selves. Matter of fact, it was Eleanor Roosevelt. She had a cool saying or phrase that I like. She said it this way. She said that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And so the individual who might be feeling like, hey, I'm just going to be my okay self, or I'm going to work on myself to be my best self, but I'm never going to show it. Well, what's the point? Listen, some of us have been made to feel inferior about how cool we are. Don't be that guy and don't be that girl. Go ahead and be dope. It's important. We got one life to live, the Bible says, and then the judgment. And so I want to be the best and the dopest that I can be. However, my point today is my best is reserved for the times that are going to require my best. One more quote that I wanted to share here, and this one comes from the late, great Maya Angelou. And so what Maya Angelou says is this. She says, I'm not afraid of the storms, for I'm learning how to sail my ship. So whatever the reasoning is for what has caused you not to be dope, or for what has caused you to hold back, or that has made you feel like, I don't know if I want to show this side of me, keep working at it. You're just learning how to sail your ship through this life that has all these storms. I think that the best version of yourself, we have yet to see. I believe it's on the way. However, it's not an all or nothing game. It's not either I'm bringing my best or I may as well not show up. I think that's a misnomer. That might be nice if you're in athletics or if you're talking about a one-time event, but when we talk about the marathon of life, right? We should practice hard and be ready to deploy the version of ourselves that's necessary at the time to be able to be successful that day, and continue to work on ourselves. And we get stronger and we get better, but I think the best version of ourselves to utilize the most is the dope self, right? Be dope today, and the best is yet to come. My name is Carl Ladding. I call myself the lifestyle architect. I'm looking to build and equip both my life and yours so that we can be able to enjoy everything that life has to offer. I'll see you guys next time.